top of funnel decisions happen when you just don't have leads, like you need more leads. But then bottom of funnel happens when you have a ton of leads coming in, but no one's making any decisions, and you can't seem to get anyone over the hurdle to apply and then sign a lease. All right, we are back. We have not been on YouTube in forever, and I apologize. If you are a landlord, property manager, even tenant looking for a place to live in Knoxville, reach out, because we have those units and we do a great job. We handle maintenance, leasing, and billing. So we make the complete property management experience passive for the landlord. I am going to talk on leasing today and how to know when to change the price versus when to make deals and discounts. If you have one rental property or 100, you are in the same situation where you're trying to fill units. You have to find one avatar in the next 4 weeks that matches that property. Top of funnel versus bottom of funnel. You don't want to pick the wrong variable, because if you pick the wrong variable, you will lose money on the table. Nobody wants to drop the rental price. What are other ways that you can create closing? You have free applications, you have first month's rent free, you have reduced security deposits. None of these are going to create more people calling in on the phones trying to schedule showings. These are all tactics that once you have a pool of candidates or applicants that are wanting to move forward, but they just aren't quite ready to say yes, the deals and offers are what you go and do first. Do not drop the price on the open market when you could simply give a small discount for someone to make a decision a little faster. Speed can actually make deals move. Speed can kill or keep a deal alive. 2 to 5 minutes, depending on where they're at in the funnel. Then they are going to move on to other things. I run my own leasing department, and I have 3 team members and myself running it. I watch a lot of metrics all day, making sure that we don't give away a rental, but we also don't let it sit on the market for too long. And the one thing that we really try to put priority towards is making sure the most qualified, the closest people to signing the lease and making the payment, those are the people we're trying to spend our most time around. Of course, we cannot neglect the top of funnel where all these leads are coming. The software and technology actually corrals them into the showings, and then from the showings, now we can nurture those into opportunities of applications and leases. In a leasing department, you have the person doing all the showings, the person nurturing all the leads, and the other person filling out all the paperwork so people can apply and sign leases and make their first rent payment. And so those 3 people are the primary people on my team. But within each of those tasks, you have subtasks. You could be nurturing cold leads all day, the people that are just inquiring on Zillow that haven't even seen the property. Luckily, we have technology handling those type of cold leads to funnel them into the showings. And we have ways to handle the old-fashioned tenants that like to send in money orders to P.O. boxes and call in for maintenance requests. On average, we typically see 25 to 35 leads flow in a week. That generates 3 showings a week. And then we want to see 1 application per week. That 1 application might only be someone with a very low credit score, no income, and they're a felon, and everything else that's the worst terrible thing that you could have. So top of funnel is all price based. So you lower the price, more people see it in their filter when they're on Zillow and they're looking at the price range they can afford. You pop up, they inquire, now you have a new lead. So really the only way to get more leads when you're marketing on the massive amount of websites that we market on is by lowering the price. And so once you lower the price, you can then test out for a couple days how much top of funnel lead flow are you absorbing additionally. And again, you're aiming for 25 to 35 top of funnel leads a week minimally. So with single family, you typically only need to deal with top of funnel, which is why when you price reduce, you will find a qualified applicant. But with multifamily, you are dealing with multiple units that are typically the same floor plan and price. Top of funnel decisions happen when you just don't have leads. Like, you need more leads. But then bottom of funnel happens when you have a ton of leads coming in, but no one's making any decisions, and you can't seem to get anyone over the hurdle to apply and then sign a lease. And I have had both of these situations happen. And it doesn't really matter if it's single family or multifamily when we're zoomed out in this conversation. It's just like, if you have a rental and you have the problem of no one's reaching out, well, you're going to have to drop the price. You're going to need to get some conversations started, and the only way to do that is to get some leads. But once you have leads, now the conversation is, do we need any more leads this week, or do we need to be better at closing them? And so that's why I say the 25 to 35 leads a week. Once you have the proper lead flow, now you don't need to go back to the table and keep price dropping just to get people to say yes. You need to start trying to figure out their pain points. And their pain point is usually, well, I'm leaving one place and it's costing me a lot of money to exit that lease, and I'm trying to enter yours. Between the one I'm leaving early and the one I'm trying to enter with you, I got $10,000 in just leasing fees. Close a few deals and move on. We do this all the time. Just pay attention to where your offers are getting so unique and confusing that your customer understands, you understand, and then they move in. Because there's nothing worse than a tenant being confused and thinking they got a better deal than what you really offered. Even though they signed the lease, they still didn't understand, and now they're pissed and they're trying to get out of the lease, and you just wasted your entire 4 weeks on that applicant moving in. That is terrible. So top of funnel would be taking $11,000 dividing by all 12 months, and now we're ending up at $916 a month on rent. So if we drop the rent online to $916, we would generate more leads that would then go through showings and applications, and we wouldn't have to close as high of a percentage, and we'd get a tenant. So just be aware of this, because it's the same out the door price whether you go the $916 a month for 12 months or $1,000 for 11. Bottom of funnel, where you're working your current leads and trying to find a way to close them. Over here on top of funnel is, I'm trying to meet more people so I can find the right person. And both are meant to be used at certain times. If you already have good lead flow and showings, you just need to close somebody. So that requires you to talk to more people, figure out why they're not moving in, and then solve that. When you don't have anyone to talk to, price drop. When you have a ton of leads and nothing's happening, give them limited time offers, and you will see yourself save cash flow, because there is going to be a day where you do the wrong thing and realize that you left money on the table. So I hope that you guys learned a lot. Comment down below if you agree or disagree with everything I went over. And honestly, thanks for watching this video, and rent's due.